believe that we started recording right in the middle of 2020 with all of the COVID and lockdowns going on around us, unable to meet up. So like many a young gentleman, we turned to the internet for our entertainment. Tried to find a place where we could meet up and talk about the good, the bad, and that time that Stu saw a pelican on the canal. In order to facilitate our dreams of answering all of the big questions in film, and after a few attempts at recording via other methods to various levels of success, we found Zencastr, a super easy web-based one-stop shop for recording. Log in and you're ready to record in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take a tech genius to get high-quality audio or video. And on top of that, the one time we have had an issue, the fact that the multi-layered backups are stored locally means it's easily fixed all in browser. There are plenty of tools you need when you start podcasting, so let Zencastr take that headache away as it offers a place to record, edit and distribute all from one website. Any lazy bones Jones can pick up and play and have studio quality audio or 4K video put out for the world to see when using Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CAGEFIGHTING and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And now, hit the music.
I feel the need for speed.
Hello and welcome to Cage Fight. Just let me die at this point. It is nearly 31 degrees in this room. I'd feel sick. We have a podcast to record though, so hello everybody.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Again, no talking about weather, but I will talk about and it is kind of weather related though, because I think it might have been like emphasised how nice it is. But is there any smell better than new tarmac? Because in this heat as well, there would be a hole in the floor. So there's a gas and 7 trends down there. So they're relayed in, tarmacked it over. And you could like proper smell it. And I thought, yeah, there's this and that and creosote. Perfect outdoor smells. And you don't get better than that. Hello, everyone.
Tarmac for me, I don't know why, but it just reminds me of being on the motorway. And I never want to be on the motorway, let alone in heat. So, yeah, I'm not with you on that one. Sorry, I've interrupted the hellos. Ash, I'm sorry, carry on.
You had me at hello. Hi.
Is that you done, Ash?
Yeah. It's too hot to do anything else.
It is too hot. I've just taken... I thought I'd do a bit of washing before we started podcasting, and I've just taken a T-shirt off the clothes horse that's still dripping wet and put it on me, just in the hope of being cool. It's Ed, by the way.
I was debating how to get through this, and I thought it's just going to have to be tops off. It was nearly bottoms off as well because it's unbearable, but my office chair is not pleasant to sit on in the nip, as I know from attending meetings post-shower in a bit of a rush.
So then people who go on the naked cycling thing, don't they? I mean, you got to... it can't be... I mean, for one, how could it be nice anyway? But two, like, the smell of them seats afterwards.
It is grim, isn't it?
You'd rather have tarmac then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, very true.
I would argue petrol's nicer than both of those smells that you mentioned.
I used to like petrol. I used to like whenever Mum used to, again, I think it got to a point where whenever Mum used to go fill up the tank and stuff when I was a kid, I'd always go with her, just because I like the smell of petrol. But then it got to a stage where it made me sick once, and now I can't stand it. Like egg.
It's like proper Stu doesn't drive, so I like the smell of driving, whereas we drive on. Honestly, just keep me out of a fucking car, will you? Because I hate it. It's a world of difference. This week, it's the final week of Happy Days and Sad Nights month feature, whatever you want to call it. So we've done 2 happy, we've done 1 scary, and now we're doing the sad episode. The working title is Top 5 Moments That Broke Us, I think is what we'll be calling this one. Genuinely, actually, I was going to tell you the reason behind it, but it's actually the answers to one of my top 5, so I'll tell you when we get there where the genesis of this idea actually came from. So we'll get to that. We'll do top 5s, 5 to 2, honourable mentions, and then we'll give our number 1s. If we have a clash on anything, just put your hand up or shout out, and we'll visit it when we get to your number. just for sake of ease, because I can do it clockwise, I'll go me, Stu, you're on my left, Ash, you're in the middle, Ed, you're on the right. So it's a nice, easy path round. So that makes it nice and easy. So starting off with my number 5 is The Mist, and this is the film, not the TV show. Anyone else got it on their list before I dive in?
It's my fifth.
Okay.
It's my 5th as well, so
okay.
just go.
Cool. Yeah, so we can double team that. Like I've said before, it's the same director. It's obviously an adaptation of a Stephen King novella, same as Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption is Hope Springs Eternal, and The Mist is, no matter how bad you think things are going to get, they're going to get so much worse. And it is the most downbeat ending of any big mainstream film that I think I've seen for, well, ever, to be perfectly honest. It's such an incredibly tragic ending. And just as everything hits the wall and you think it's going to end horrendously, you get the double whammy of the light at the end of the tunnel once things are too late that things can't be undone. So obviously we're operating under a spoiler alert because we are talking about moments and films here, so we do need to talk about the things which happen. They end up deep in the mist. The monsters are in there. The only thing that Thomas Jane's character has left to do, he's got 4 bullets and 5 people in the car, including his son. So he decides that he will be the one who will face the monsters and everyone else will just face the bullet. What happens is, after he kills them, the mist clears, and if he'd have just waited where he was initially, he would have been rescued by the army. It is just like the most downbeat of any downbeat endings. And it's about that moment of certainty just being wiped away from you, where everything just changes in a moment. And it's just crushing. It's so well done, and Thomas Jane is just phenomenal in this film. Ash, it was also your number 5 as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much happiness about that film because you see because obviously he goes with Captain Holt, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
To the supermarket, and then goes to his house and sees his wife's been killed, and this, and then all of what happens, and you finally succumbs to it, and then he would have had hope, and it's just like, oh, it's just miserable. So yeah, shit house.
Yeah, it was on my honourable mentions. I watched this because of Thomas Jane after The Punisher, and obviously not read the book, obviously. So I had no clue. I was completely in the dark about it all. So when it happened, I think we watched it together. It was both like, wow, that was what a nice thing to go to bed on. But at least it's very well done, and you can kind of. We've got to be 20 odd years old, do we? Something like that. The film.
No, I haven't got the year, but yeah, I think it's in the 2010, the noughties, I think. But
it still holds up. So watched it before the series, which I presume is the same. But I had no interest in watching that because of how good the film is. Yeah, wonderful. Well, not wonderful, terrible, but very well done.
Ed, are you a fan of Stephen King? I can't remember.
I've read a few. He rambles on a lot, but I don't mind him, but I don't laud him like a lot of people do. This is one I haven't read though.
Okay, I presume you haven't seen the film. It's a little bit on the scarier side of things.
No, I literally never heard of it until you guys were talking about it. So this has passed me by completely.
You'd probably like it. Like, there's an existential sadness to it that makes it quite enjoyable rather than fear, I think. Stu, what's your number 5?
I mean, this I can't really say much about, but it affected me so badly last week that it has to be on there. And how to say it? I should know exactly what I mean. The lily pad chat window in Toy Story 5.
Oh.
It proper fucked me up. And I had tears in my eyes in the cinema. And there's about 15 people in there. 9:30 in the morning on a Friday. And that's why I said, when I put it in the thing after, I said, any parents who's go and watch this, be prepared. Because I know little Dan didn't like it as much, and I get it 100%. But if you've been in that situation, it's awful. And That's you can if you're empathetic as well, obviously. But because it is so new, I can't really say anything else, and you can kind of gather it from the trailer anyway. But still, I'm going to keep it as vague as possible. But when you get to that moment, you'll know. Just awfulness.
Interesting. Ash, you've seen Toy Story 5, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're in agreement with Stu there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's one of the best ones. Annoyingly, they hit so hard on reality of life and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm probably a bit more empathetic, clearly, because I was in tears at certain bits of it as well.
Ed, have you got around to it yet?
No, it was potentially on the cards for this weekend, but other plans have kicked in, so I'll get around to it eventually. But I do want to watch it at the cinema. But I mean, having an 11-year-old who hates any form of screen time unless it's playing Football Manager or FIFA means that I can't even drag him along.
Or creating a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got around to it yet. I was going to go this week, but it's been so hot. I haven't particularly wanted to leave my dog on his own for too long, so it's just taken a bit of a backseat, and hopefully get it sorted this weekend and get it watched. Ash, you've said number 5 was The Mist, so Ed, on to you, please.
I'm going to use this as number 5 because none of you lot would put it in there, but it is Snape from the last Harry Potter movie. It's mostly because of what's actually in the book, because the book's a lot better. But the whole storyline of Snape, you think he's evil, you think he hates the chosen one, the special boy. It's essentially Star Wars, but with wizards. And it turns out that he's been doing it all for the love of his life that he's loved since he was about 11. I think the death scene in the last one, when the snake is killing Snape, and the way Alan Rickman plays it, it's one of the few times in the movies, because I can take or leave the movies, it's one of the few times in the movies when it actually feels like a film and not just a something to sell merch and jumping on the back of a bandwagon of the beast that was Harry Potter at the time. I think it's great. I think Alan Rickman's performance in Snape is the only probably real character that lives up to what happens in the books. And the books, if you grew up with them in particular, this part makes it like everything clicks into place. And I found this heartbreaking both when I read it in the book and also on the screen, that Snape, despite the fact that he's inherently weird and a bit creepy, has always been doing it for the love of his life, who just happens to be Harry's mum. Yeah,
I think, like, I didn't cry at any of the films. I don't think they're particularly. I don't think they're strong enough. In the book, it's Dumbledore is the one that gets me. His death, I thought, was really well handled in the book, in a way that he's just kind of quite throwaway in the film, and he's a bit. It's just an event that happens.
It's like one of the many. It's like one of the many false endings that you get in the end of the Lord of the Rings, isn't it? It just happens, and everything goes white for a bit, and then everyone cracks on and carries on.
Yeah. Stu, you haven't got there on your watches. Ash, any Harry Potter moments worthy of discussion, do you think?
What, for sad? Trying to think now. It doesn't really bother me. I was never a big Harry Potter fan. In terms of the films, I only like number 4, and I've only ever read the last book because the ex-wife was a big Harry Potter fan, but she was dyslexic, so she couldn't read properly. So I read it ahead, and then told her that Voldemort killed Harry with a wicked bottle. It's amazing. I'm not married still.
I mean, the sad part about Harry Potter is the fact that people think it's better than Lord of the Rings, which is obviously silly. But leave it there.
I've not read Lord of the Rings, so I can't compare. I suspect it is a better written book.
It's a slog, mate.
Well, I found The Hobbit a slog, and apparently that's like for children, and I was just bored after about 150 pages.
The Hobbit is, I think I've said it before on here, I've only ever... Andy Serkis has read it to me very, very slowly through my Spotify free audiobooks. And even then, there's like, when you're listening to him do another song by Trolls, you think, we could skip this now. We don't need the dwarves singing. And I think I've said it before in the first book, from when the ring turns up with Frodo and Gandalf leaves and comes back, it's like 50 something years. He goes away and researches for like 50 odd years and then comes back. And that's like 50 pages in the book of just hobbiting. It is a slog and a half.
Yeah, no thanks. No
Which
thanks.
is why you can use so much of this stuff in the new films.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just the stays at arm's reach over there. That was just going to read a passage just because it is. It's like watching some of your Polish films. You can't be tired reading that stuff. I mean, I did that when I was a kid.
I'll take your word for it. Maybe one day I'll do an audiobook, but I'm never reading it. I can take that
They're
from
like
it.
20 odd hours each.
It's a lot in it.
Yeah.
It's a lot when there's Alan Partridge audiobooks out there, which are like inherently better.
I think I spent one entire summer family holiday, like in Spain or something like that, and I just read the entirety of Two Towers. That was it.
Jeez, no. Moving on, my number 4 is a documentary. I think I've mentioned it before, called Dear Zachary. It's fucking harrowing. It is such a emotional fucking shotgun of a moment in this movie. It's a documentary. It's a tribute to Zachary's father, who was abused and then killed by his ex-wife, who then, after she's arrested for it, she then turns out she's pregnant with young Zachary. The person who was making the documentary was the deceased person's best friend in the world, and he wanted to give Zachary something to remember his father by. And then something happens halfway through the film that gives such a turning that it's just emotional devastation on a level I don't think I've ever quite comprehended in a film. It's incredible. I believe it's available on YouTube, of all things, as well now. I'm sure it won the Oscar back in 2008. It's a guy who just made it in his garage, so it's very small scale, and ended up being one of the most emotionally impactful pieces of art storytelling that I think I've ever seen in anything. It's horrific, and I had to pause the film for half an hour to catch myself, because it's just so fucking sad what happens in it. It's incredible.
I know the last time you mentioned that film on here, and I thought you never selling me about watching this. And yet again, this has never been watched by me. It sounds like what Ed thinks about any kind of horror film. It just sounds like, why would you do it to yourself?
Mm-hmm. I've watched it once and never again. But if you like a true crime documentary, which is all the rage, like everyone on TikTok and stuff are talking about The Crash and Mother's Instinct, which, they're enjoyable bits of fluff. This is it's a better story, but it's much, much worse. But yeah, I wouldn't blame anyone for not wanting to give it the time of day, because it's not a nice watch, but it's a very good watch at the same time. But yeah, I completely understand it. Stu, what have you got at your number 4?
I think this might be one of yours. The Death in My Girl.
Yeah.
It's my number 4 as well.
It's later for me.
Well, we'll pass along.
I know where it is on that.
Ash, what's your number 4?
It could be on someone's. Anyone that's got a dog will resonate, but it's I Am Legend. The film itself isn't up to much at all, but when Will Smith has to kill Sam, I sobbed uncontrollably. You've gone through this entire film of just this man and his dog, and the bond between them, and anyone who's had a dog knows how much they're your best friend. And when she gets bitten and he has to put her down, I sobbed in the cinema. And rewatching it after I'd had a dog, I sobbed even more. When the bond between a person and their dog it's unspeakable. And whenever someone's had to do that sort of thing, it's not good, Jeff.
It is interesting how, there's a whole website dedicated to Does the Dog Die? I think it's doesthedogdie.com, and it talks about if there's any animal in the movie that perishes. In the same way that there isn't one about any humans who die in films. People generally don't give a shit. The amount of times we've made jokes on here about how a child is shot in the first 5 seconds of Face Off, for example. But a dog dying, it feels so much bigger. than anything. And I think it's because when it happens in films, it tends to be the culmination of something. Whereas when it's a human, it's either just part of what's going on or it's the start of something. And I think that's the difference in how it's treated.
I mean, I've kind of... There's a dog in the house, he wasn't mine. But it's the reason I never watched Marley and Me. I thought, well, why?
Yeah, I'm not watching that. Yeah. Ed, what's your number 4?
It's my goal.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, you did say. Sorry, yeah. So my number 3 then is a movie called After Sun. It's like I think it's an A24 drama. It's incredible. It's Paul Mescal. One of the first roles that I think I saw him in. So it's quite early doors, and it's just this devastating tale of a dad and his daughter who go on holiday, and he's clearly suffering with depression post breakup from his daughter's partner. And it's not a moment as such that's sad. It's just this profound undercurrent of bleakness that goes throughout the entire film. But it's the final sequence where we see Sophie, her name is, she's watching her younger self watching her father, and it's just this emotional thing of how she never really knew her dad. She just saw this moment of him as he's dancing while they're on holiday to Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie. And obviously that song also sort of just rings a bell because he's suffering with this pressure that is just crushing him throughout this entire movie of trying to be enough of a father to her. It's about the unknowability of our parents, and I think it's probably something that we've all touched on to various degrees. We're all either in middle-aged or approaching middle-aged. We have to, that moment when you realise that your parents are human beings is quite tough to stomach, I think. And in this, that is very much what we see here. And we get this symbolic strobe lit rave that's going on this dance floor, and it's reaching across time and memory and everything that was unsaid. And it's devastating in its quietness. And it sucks the air out of the room in a way that I don't think any film's ever quite done it for me before. It's a special movie that is, again, probably I'm going to watch it once and never again because it's quite special. It's an excellent movie with some fantastic acting, but it's sad.
Well, you ain't said how dead behind the eyes he is as well.
Throughout the whole film, yeah. I mean, you can, like, as someone who has dealt with depression in his past, that 1,000-yard stare at all times, I get it. Like, I've been there, and it's fucking horrific that there's no way of battling it. It's just you against a sea of demons, and you're the only one who can see them. And that's exactly how he portrays it. It's such a great performance. I'm amazed that he wasn't Oscar nominated for it. It was tremendous.
Yeah, I went and I watched that after people started talking. I think it was after he got announced for Gladiator 2. And I watched it then. So I don't know who this guy is. And yeah, I didn't expect that really. When you said that as about knowing your parents as people, not really a tale, but when my mum was we were pissed up at Bristol City away, and we discovered that I was exactly 9 months to the day younger than my wife because I was conceived after a football club do, apparently. So there we are. And if it weren't for the side of people in Bristol, Mum would never have got in that state to admit it on the way back. So there we go.
Ed, have you seen After Sun at all?
No, but it sounds like one of those films that I wouldn't mind sitting through and crying by myself. I've just literally just added it to a quick list of ones to watch. Paul Mescal as well. He's cage fighting alumni, isn't he? We're a big fan of him. So yeah, it sounds great, and I think it's weird because I remember there was a complete change in when Jacob was born. I went from I could take or leave things that people said as a parent, and you always used to go, oh yeah, fuck off, that means nothing, blah, blah, I've got empathy or whatever, and then all of a sudden you got this little thing that requires you to like literally keep them alive, and things do change. Yeah, and that rings true. What you've just described, that film, like rings true with my life at the minute, being a single dad, bringing Jacob up and stuff. It's it's one that you just think, bloody hell. I think
It's
A24 are really good at that, though, aren't they, as well, of picking those different things out.
And to be fair, like Paul Mescali's got a bit of a track record for it. So you've got Hamnet, Normal People, After Sun, All of Us Strangers, The Lost Daughter. Like, I think I've cried at all of those films. It's just something about his work that I think he brings an emotional maturity to a lot of movies. I feel like someone who is 30 years old, like he's still a child in many ways. It's crazy. Is it you next, Stu? It is, isn't it? You're number 3.
When Simba's trying to get Mufasa to wake up in Lion King.
It's my number 3 as well.
Okay.
So
Ash, is it later for you, or
a little later on mine, yeah.
okay? Okay, cool.
That's
Ash, you're
a good
number
again.
3.
We're staying with the mouse, but we're going to Up. The first 20 minutes of Up. That is the most gobsmacked, awful 20 minutes I've ever experienced. And I remember watching it on a staff showing before it came out, and we all just sat there gobsmacked to the point where they had to stop the film because everyone was in tears and just couldn't focus. Like, we just couldn't believe what we'd just watched from a Disney film. Incredible. Without a single word, I don't think. Well, there was I think she speaks a little bit when she's a kid, but that's it. And apart from that, it's just the music, and it goes through a whole range of different things, and it's gut wrenching, which is the point. But good God!
So
The fact that there's a Lego set of that house, not needed.
it's like, I don't think I cried at the time, but I know. I mean, I haven't seen it back, but I kind of feel like if I watched it now, I'm almost certain I would.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any film that starts off with a death that you give a shit about. That's unheard of. That's incredible storytelling.
Yeah, it was one of my honourable mentions because I think I mention it every 3rd or 4th episode I'm on because it's the most I've ever cried in a cinema or anywhere probably that wasn't involving something in my personal life. It was just, it's devastating. I think Ash is right. The fact that it's probably the best montage you're ever going to see as well, because you get so much out of it and there's very little that's shared, but as in verbally, but it's just, and it sets you up for the whole rest of, why Carl's the way Carl is for the rest of the film. It's just, and then it's bookended with the finding out of what she actually put in the book at the end.
Yeah, that's an honourable mention.
Yeah,
that's just as much of a gut punch, like in a sort of, not in a sad sense, but still, it's kind of like, oh.
Ed, what's your number 3?
it was this. It was the Lion King.
Sorry.
It was the Lion King. It was what it was.
So
what
to come with Ash. Okay, cool. So number 2 then for myself is Past Lives. I doubt if anyone, maybe Stu, but I doubt anyone's got it in. No. Stu's looking confused.
I've never even heard of it, mate. But that's my
I think
role
about
on
10 of us watched it. It was like, I could, when we talked about this 2 years ago, I kept forgetting what it was even called. So it was in my mentions, obviously, because of what an incredible film it is. But yeah, be as vague as you can for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's the curbside goodbye. The final moments of the film. They're going into too much. It's the unrealisation of lives not lived, I think. It's the moment of... So in Everything Everywhere All at Once, I would have been happy doing laundry and taxis with you. Like, that's such a sweet moment that they say when they're in one of the lives, which is where they are... Was it when they were Oscar winners or something to that effect? And this is the film where you don't get those other lives. Like, the past lives don't really exist. It's just the here and now. And that moment of the rug being pulled, that you're never going to get the chance. You're never going to get a do-over. The life that you have now is the life that you've got. And it's not an explosive sadness at the end of it. It's a quiet, sad defeat. it's the reveal of the identity and destiny within the movie that, you know, you can be destined to do things, but it doesn't always mean it's going to work out that way. And heartbreak can still come along. And that, you know, just because you love something doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the path that you're going to take, and how hard that can be to accept. And I feel like this film really encapsulated that to a level I don't think I've seen in anything else. It was, it's the anti everything everywhere all at once. And I loved it for that. I thought it was just fantastic. I mean, it was my film of the year. Was it 2023 or was it, Stu? I think that one.
It feels a bit that,
22. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I just thought it was... Again, I think it's an A24 movie. They just know how to knock it out of the park. It was brilliant and quietly devastating. I loved it.
Yeah, the fact that it's a foreign language, wanky, filmy film kind of thing that I would never in a million years watch. And yet, for some reason, just by seeing the teaser and then seeing A24, I thought, okay, I'll give this one a go. And yeah, I think if it won my number one, it was definitely my number two, because it was... it's probably not remembering the name of it for some reason.
It was around the time you had your fall, if I remember correctly. So it may be that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and it's one of the films that I wish I fucking forgot so I could watch it again. Because it is incredibly special and very well made, and it is like, it does make you think of like, it's almost, it's like sliding doors, but not shit, in a way. But yet you don't get to see the other one, what could have happened if you got the train. Yeah, I think that's why it's more poignant than anything else. Yeah, class film.
Yeah, I loved it. Stu, you're number two.
Now, this is going off memory more than anything else, and the fact that I watched it when I was obviously very small on VHS. When Bambi's mum died, you know. Terrifying, devastating, awful. Nice little deer. You don't want cartoon deers being shot and dead deer. So not nice. And when you're a child watching that, nah, man. I've probably watched Bambi about 5 times in my entire life. I ain't watching it again. I watched Watership Down before I watched Bambi. It's just horrible.
I think I saw it too late in life. Like, I think I was in my 20s before I first saw Bambi. So obviously that moment is taken away because I already know when it's coming, and it's affecting. And I imagine if you watched it as a kid, it would be traumatizing. And what was it like? Was it 60s? Was it released in the 60s? I can imagine that whenever it was released, that must have been a huge deal to have death in a kids animated film.
Yeah, because it was. Remember when they bought them all back, didn't they? As like a Disney Classics VHS collection, and they like touched them all up a bit. Oh, and then made them a little bit better before that was a thing. And so we had the whole collection of them all. Well, my sister did. So in between watching RoboCop and other stuff as a 9-10-year-old watching Bambi, you think, yeah, let's not talk about this anymore.
I think Bambi, there's Dumbo as well. That's got a parent's death in it as well, doesn't it? Which is how he ends up being orphaned. I think it was a bit of a trope.
No, she gets sent away, doesn't she? And
that's it. Yeah.
The scene with the song, and she's cuddled, and Dumbo's cuddled up in the trunk.
And every single Roald Dahl story starts with an orphan. So I think we were just kids, especially from like the 70s onwards when Roald Dahl was writing his books and Disney were churning these out. We were just used to everyone being either an orphan, the next Oliver, or you know. Did you
ever used to get threatened by being sent to the cottage homes? That was one of our things. You carry on like this. You go into the cottage homes.
I don't know what's that referencing though.
It was like I think it was like an orphanage thing in Wolverhampton.
No, my parents loved me, mate. So, Although genuinely, last week was the first time I've ever understood when my nan used to tell me to go and play on the M6 when I was being a dick. I only got what she meant last week at 41. I was like, it was go and get run over. Cheers, nan.
Well, it was things like why we ended up having a mattress outside, because we used to put it up against the door because there was glass in it, and it used to get smashed every week by the footballs. And then she's like, just put something in front of it. So when we had a new bed, I'll just put the mattress outside. So when me and my brother were out there, just lean the mattress against the door.
It sounds like something of Shameless, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that was the mattress that saved me when I got spiked in town and I jumped out my window.
It still sounds like something from Shameless.
Yeah.
Jackasses next weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Incredible.
My mum just used to make me watch it when I played up. That explains everything.
Incredible. Ash, it's your number 2 now, I think.
Yeah, we're staying with animals. Lion King. The most affecting thing. Probably, it could be 2 different moments in the film for me, but it's the most famous one. Like, everyone knows it, and it's just the most recognisable, horrific moment in probably the entirety of Disney history, to be honest. Yeah.
So, I mean, I presume you're on about the moment of Simba trying to wake Mufasa up.
Dad. Wake up, Dad.
Yeah.
What's the other moment that it could be?
It's more for me. It's when he's looking into the pool and he's seeing the reflection, and it's the realization that his dad's shadows over him. Again, that's a personal thing. Not going yeah. But yeah, the most famous one is Get Up, Dad. Yeah.
Stuart was in your number 4, was it? I can't remember.
It was following. It's kind of like the Dead Grandma short from the last week or the week before, whenever we did that one. So it's that whole thing about you're the kid being left because the parent dies, and it's a lion cub, so it's a bit different. But it talks, so it's completely different. But it was like he doesn't know, and like the nudging and not nice at all.
Ed, it's in your list as well.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? And it's like I didn't watch The Lion King till I was in my 30s. I had missed it completely. I was supposed to go to a birthday party once, but when it came out, but the girl who was in my class, that it was her party, she got chickenpox. So it turned into a chickenpox party instead of we went to the cinema, which was what we were supposed to do. And I didn't even get the chickenpox. To do a stew aside, I missed a trip in year 8 because I got it randomly in year 8, and I was the only one in year 8 that got it, so I missed the whole trip for a week.
That's light.
Yeah, I know.
You should have licked her face, like everyone else. You know what? Calamine lotion, put it up with tarmac. Nice.
Yeah, that's a nice smell, that's true. But yeah, I think actually Jacob we might have been pregnant at the time when I watched it, and I think that's another affecting thing that you have is like, you don't want to leave your kid that young. But yeah, it's considering it's drawing, it's devastating. To use the Chandler line about Bambi, I wasn't sad that someone stopped drawing her mum from Friends, but it's more than that, isn't it?
Well, that's it, because it's often not what the plot is. It's the symbol of what has happened is where the impact comes from, I think, a lot of the time. Where was I? That was you, Ash, number 2. So Ed, you're number 2.
I've got it's back to Stephen King. I've got the 2 executions from the Green Mile, so Coffee being executed, but the one that affected me the most was the guy that was executed before when they didn't wet his rag. That both of those executions, because the whole film is about, or the whole book is about, who is Coffee, who is that guy, one of God's gifts, as the Tom Hanks character calls him, and it all seems so unnecessary, and it's the unnecessariness of I'm not an advocate of execution anyway. I think that is an awful thing that no one should go through. Even if they're awful, I think if they're the worst person in the world, they should suffer, not get away with it. But both of those deaths were, and I remember watching it at the cinema, and it was the late 90s, was it? Early 2000s? I think 99 is in my head, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm feeling like it might be around 99.
I remember watching it in the cinema and being really affected by it. Really,
99.
really affected by it. I'd have been, what, 14? Yeah.
I don't think I saw it till years later, you know?
Yeah, I watched it on Sky Movies as well. This is how it's 3 hours long as well, ain't it? So,
Yeah,
like,
it's long. It's long.
You didn't watch films like that in the cinema then. So they have to spend nearly 3 hours every week there now.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it for so long. And like this, I feel like I'm just now learning that Sam Rockwell's in it. And I would have seen it at the time, but I probably wouldn't have known who Sam Rockwell is in the way that now he's just a fucking genius actor. That I kind of want to watch it. Is he the dickhead younger warden? Okay.
Yeah, he's the one who basically makes a fuck up of that execution before Coffey's execution. He's the another reason why it's so affecting is how much you hate him. And I think I often say that sometimes a film, when you have divisive characters, it's only as good as the baddie, and he's the baddie, and you literally hate him. You hate him, and you know Tom Hanks is a bit insipid. I think everything he does is really professional, but he's a bit insipid, isn't he? But his performance is really good in it too. And it's both of those executions. They follow each other. You have the one that seems like the guy. It's from memory. He's a bit of a wrong-un, but he obviously doesn't deserve to die the way he dies in that agony. And then it goes to this person that has literally done nothing wrong, that is executed, and you know there's the whole racial undertones of it all and all that kind of stuff. So it's very affecting.
I think
I wouldn't mind watching it again. You know, I feel like
it's worth
in a way that I don't want to watch Shawshank ever again. I kind of want to watch this.
I got bored about an hour into Shawshank and I've never finished it.
It's the same director though. So sorry, Stu, what were you saying?
His influence, your influence on everyone makes it a bit Shawshank. It's great. I think
It's just fine.
I think Sam Rockwell was, that one where we watched with the Cage film he was in. It's a similar kind of era of that. So he's not young, but he's young enough to not notice him straight off.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, 2000. It was released in the UK in 2000, so it was filmed in 1999. So I'm guessing he's like in his 50s now. So he's what is he? Born in 68. So yeah, at that point in his career, he's probably just about to break out. I suspect he'll be 30, 31 at that point. It's a good show. Yeah, I haven't seen that for so long. I kind of want to watch it again, but also I know 3 hours is a big commitment. I don't remember it feeling that long when I watched it way back when. Cool. Some honourable mentions. So, The Walking Dead issue 100, not the TV show, the comic book. Issue 100 is the introduction of Negan's character, and this is where we get the death of Glenn in the comic book. And throughout the series, Glenn had been the glue of the group. He was the one who sort of everyone liked. He was like, he never had a bad word about anyone. He was one of the few pure souls in the book. So for him to meet one of the most graphic endings of anything I've ever seen, it was just completely unexpected when it happened. I remember I was on the bus reading it. I left work early to go to the comic book shop to get issue 100 to find out what happens. And I remember being in tears on the bus. I was like, it was just harrowing. So that moment does it for me. Project Nim. I don't know if any of you know that one. It's a documentary about a chimpanzee, and it's a chimpanzee that is adopted as a young chimp. He's taught how to sign. He's basically treated as a member of the family, and then they just send him back to the scientists to carry on with experimentations and just turn their back on him. And like the human failure in a story about a chimpanzee is disgusting. What happens to him? It's heartbreaking in a way that an innocent should never have to be treated the way he was. Just awful. The Good Place, Chidi's ending. It was entirely warranted for his character. It was perfect. But leaving behind Eleanor was just devastating. I love The Good Place so much, but that ending, I struggle to watch the ending because it's so heartbreaking. And I just kind of want to make mention of Olivia Rodrigo's new album. Second half of that album, cried a couple of times. Some absolute belters on there. Plus, there's a song with Robert Smith, so I'm always happy when we get a bit of The Cure.
That's just the police coming to take you away. That's why you're crying. The Walking Dead one, though, obviously not knowing anything about it, that moment in the show got me. Because completely I thought, they're not going to kill anyone. And then to kill him like that. brutal.
Yeah, because when it happened in the show, he kills somebody else first, doesn't he? I can't remember who he kills, but in the book, he only kills Glenn. He doesn't kill two people. So when he kills one, we thought, oh, Glenn's safe. And those of us who know the book are a bit like, okay, that's good. He's going to be okay. And then obviously he takes him out. And it works really well. They did a really good job of it in the show. At a point where the show was massively off the rails. Like, it just wasn't working as a show at that point for a lot of it.
Yeah, and that's the good way to use, like we talked about with Mission Impossible, with adaptations of things, not just copying what they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Use it as a basis. Do something different with it. And Daryl's not even in it anyway, is he?
No, no, he's not. Nor Merle. Stu, honourable mentions?
Sheep Detectives. Again, very similar to the Wake Up. We all know, too recent. It's on Prime now, though, so everyone go and watch it.
Yeah, no excuses.
No, it's a great, brilliant film.
Turner and Hooch, dog stuff. Talked about that already. I had the mist anyway. Ghost Whisperer. When it's old, you've had your chance. When her husband dies, bear in mind the whole premise is that she speaks to ghosts and the souls things and whatever. But when her husband dies, and then she can't get in touch with him on the other side, and yet he's there. Hard watch that was at the time. Very, very good show, Ghost Whisperer. Massively underrated. And it's
Jennifer Love Hewitt, is that the one?
Yeah.
Vaguely
and it has an ending as well. It finishes properly. But yeah, proper devastating moment. And what is the song that's in it as well? It got to a point where when the song came on, when Jim died, The Man Who Can't Be Moved by the script. You'll know it. Whenever he came on the radio, I had to turn it off. Does he take me back to that moment when in Ghost Whisperer, of all things? Yeah, a hard thing to watch.
Brilliant. Ash?
I've got mostly TV ones. Hodor. Hold the Door. That was quite a bit of a... my stereotypical Pokemon reference is the origin story of Ash's Charmander. This is where you found out that Pokemon could die, and there's a chance that he could die. That entire episode is horrifying. When Butterfree leaves, and you realise that some Pokemon could leave, that still gets me to this day. And when Marshall's dad dies in How I Met Your Mother, the death itself is bad enough, but the funeral scene when he has the phone call and the voice message, and he thinks that the last thing his dad said to him is Crocodile Dundee. And was it Crocodile Dundee 3 holds up. And then he listens to it a bit further, and he basically says and his dad comes through and says he loves him, and he's proud of him. I remember that basically before my dad died, that basically happened to me. Like, it was a long voicemail, like he pocket dialed me, and then he said, basically the voicemail was, didn't realise that love you. And obviously I hadn't listened to that until a while after my dad died, so that still gets me now.
Ed?
So I had Up. I've got one that was from a kid when the ant dies in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I was not ready for that on a Sunday afternoon. Whenever I watched that way back in the day, dies obviously fighting off. Is it a spider? Scorpion? Scorpion, isn't it? Something like that. Anyway,
I think so. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Me too. And then I think one that devastated me, but after I'd finished watching it for not even the first time, I think the second time, Truman, the whole Truman from Truman Show, that life that he was forced to lead, and when I think if you think about it now in modern day, when social media and everyone, you can't go anywhere without you bumping into someone recording themselves in Sainsbury's telling you that seed oils are dangerous, and everyone lives their lives chronically online. I think his whole life being, a lie, and he's everything around him being curated, even those people that he's supposed to be in love with, and he's got married and she had her fingers crossed. I think that's a really devastating film. It's a really, really devastating film that really holds up, probably more than Crocodile Dundee 3.
Definitely. So my number one is My Girl. There's the whole point of doing this. So basically, I saw a TikTok, and it was some girl who was throwing out questions, asking for people to recommend shit for her to watch. And a lot of people had recommended that she watched My Girl, because obviously it's fucking devastating. And then I saw the follow-up TikTok, which was her watching the film, narrating what was going on. And I cried at just the narration of it. Like, didn't even show any of the film, didn't show the moment. And just her explaining what was happening, knowing what was about to come, and the scenes that we get, and seeing her reaction to the he can't see without his glasses. Just the TikTok of someone talking about the film was enough to make it go just sideways for me. Like, this is about... It's about more than just, the death of Macaulay Culkin's character. This is the end of childhood. It's that one perfect summer trope that they have, but obviously it ends with the death of her best friend. And this is them going into young adulthood, I suppose, because if I remember correctly, they're 12 on the precipice of teenagers. And then it happens. And then just on like a more of a symbolic level, it's that she's now left, and she was always seen as a bit of an outsider, a bit of a weirdo. And the one person who would be in her corner forever is no longer going to be there. I think if you think about it on like, a momentary level, it's horrible. If you think about what that actually means long term, it's just horrific. I think it's the fact that it is a film made for children is just horrendous, because I don't know any, like, my mom cried at it, and she's like 20 years older than me, so it was clearly something that got adults as well as kids, even back then. And it's something that I've never been able to get over. Even now, whenever I see clips of that moment, it just gets me every single time.
Because it was him as well. You don't expect it to be him dying.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have seen it after Home Alone, obviously. And probably after Uncle Buck as well. So there was no reason I would have watched this on just randomly. I'll watch it later on. So maybe that kind of contributed to it as well, because I was more emotionally stable, I was going to say, but no. Developed, I guess. Watching it is probably about mid-teens, I guess. Tough.
Yeah, and you've got just on your bit, Andy, you've got the whole backdrop of, she's also struggling is with her mum that's got a new relationship, and she feels even more
so her mum passed away,
That's
and her dad is now with Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, so you've got the whole, she already feels like a third wheel, and then she's lost the only thing that was propping her up. Yeah, it's devastating. There's no need for it to be pitched at kids.
No. So, Stu, what's your number one?
I went on IMDb just to see what its rating was. It's a 9.5, obviously. It's episode 9 of Band of Brothers. You've had time. It's not a spoil because it's good. It's literally called Why We Fight. The moment they discover that concentration camps is a thing. And it's one of the most awful things I've ever seen, ever. And that's why it's my number one, because it's, as soon as you said this, that was the first thing I thought about. And I haven't been there to Auschwitz. I don't know if I really want to go. I think it feels like a thing that you need to do, and not be a fucking dickhead and take photos on the tracks like people do. But just to feel the harrowing awfulness of it all. But that episode is so well done. The fact that they got people who were of a certain build type to play them, and then just use small bits of makeup it just works so well. And it's never been portrayed as well as that in anything. And the fact that a TV show, however old it is now, could do that. 26 years old now. Just one of the best pieces of anything ever. Just an incredible era of TV.
Ed, I feel like Band of Brothers would be your thing as well.
Well, I struggle with it because of my number one. But because I might as well tell you my number one because it follows on nicely. It's Saving Private Ryan. It's the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan is just devastating, and I find war films really difficult to watch because of especially ones set around real life events or real life wars, and it's like the almost pointlessness of it, especially for those types of wars where it was, it would have been us four bowling up on the D-Day, and I mean, I think there's some kind of black comedy script somewhere that you could do what if there was a World War III now with people TikToking it, and people really wouldn't be involved, be as all in on it. Yeah, Four Lines was another potential honourable mention, just the way it ends with him going into boots, by the way. That was devastating from a weird point of view as well. But that I haven't been able to watch, because I think the rest of the film I can take or leave. It's all right. But that opening 20 minutes is just a depiction of how pointless and hard, especially the world wars would have been. And I remember I watched through osmosis Band of Brothers at university because the lads had it on box set, but I did struggle with it because of it just being so real. And I do remember the concentration camp one, and it is one that you can't help but keep your eyes on, even if it's And I think there's something in both of mine and Stu's picks in the fact that they're devastating, but also they happened. So it's not someone's fictional father not being around. It's hundreds and thousands of men going to their deaths, or families being starved to death or gassed to death. There's not a lot more evil than that in the world, and that can only be devastating when it's portrayed as well as that.
On the theme of that, I saw the trailer for this last week and I forgot to mention it completely. A film called Pressure that's out in September. In the tense 72 hours before D-Day, General Eisenhower and Captain James Stagg face an impossible choice: launch the most dangerous seaboard invasion in history or risk losing the war altogether. Andrew Scott, Brendan Fraser.
It's already out, isn't it?
It's out here in September. Damian Lewis. It's got some people in it. It looks superb.
I've not even heard of this one. Based on a stage play. Okay. I do like Brendan Fraser.
Well, when you mention that, can have got some chops.
It's already on. If you go to the high seas, it's there.
So because it's out in the States, it's already leaked. Right. Okay. I swear these companies don't like money, do they, by doing shit like that? Idiots. Ash, what's your number one?
I tried not to put it in because I swear I always put this film here and there. But when I was thinking about what breaks me every time, it's About Time. It's the final. It's the final 10 minutes. It's the second to last scene of About Time. Again, if you've ever lost a parent and put yourself in the shoes to say it's nearly 15 years old now. No real spoilers. It's the base of the film. The males in that family can travel back in time. Obviously, then it goes to the butterfly effect, etc., etc. Domhnall Gleeson's character has children, but his dad dies of cancer. Realizes that obviously affecting it will change his life. So when he has his third or second kid, he realizes he won't get to see his dad anymore because he's been able to put it off and go and see his dad whenever he wants. And then they have their final day together, and the realization of, when Bill Nye realizes it's the last day, and they cheat and they both go back further to a time when they were younger and it was just a day at the beach, him and his dad. It breaks me every single time. It broke me in the cinema, and I watch it once or twice a year, and it breaks me every single time. Again, it's a very situational reason, but it's my number one by a country mile.
I knew it was either going to be that or Jurassic Park, Futurama. It was one of those two I would have put money on, to be on your list. Richard Curtis is generally a writer who I think is very mawkish to the point that it's like fucking diabetes-inducing saccharin. I think this might be the film that he actually finds the balance right Like he doesn't over egg the pudding on the moment, because it's a sad moment and he lets that moment breathe. And I feel like he's fighting his worst instincts as a writer director in this one, and I think he's probably the best work that I think he's done. Excellent moment. Ably supported by Ben Folds on the soundtrack. Like I feel like that song really does a lot of emotional lifting in this too. Yeah, it's decent, that is. Good shout. Right, take a quick break and then we'll be back to do our short film review, which is Small Fry from the Toy Story world. Welcome back. So it's the short film review, where we have 60 seconds or less to review a short movie. This week, because Toy Story was released last week, even though half of us haven't got around to seeing it yet, we thought we would watch a Toy Story short in order to get our juices flowing on this one. So I'll put 60 seconds on the clock, and I'll go first for a change this week. Okay. Small Fry is Pixar doing what Pixar does best. It takes a small, ridiculous idea and treats it with all the seriousness of Saving Private Ryan. The premise is that somehow Buzz Lightyear gets swapped with a miniature Happy Meal version of himself, quarter of the size with 110% of the confidence. The highlight is entirely the self-help group for the abandoned toys, reminding me of the villain support group from Wreck-It Ralph. Like, it's a real ragtag bunch of weirdo toys who have no right being together. They give us an Alcoholics Anonymous, but with tiny plastic mermaids with fork hands, karate chop unicorns, and a grappling gun. Hanks and Alan barely feature in this at all, but this builds their little world really quite nicely here. It's a classic Toy Story theme of, every toy wanting their turn in the spotlight, even ones who come with a burger and fries. It's fast, it's silly, it's existential when you think about it a little bit too deeply, but it's a nice little Pixar side quest. It's not essential viewing, but it's a delightful little gem nonetheless. Cool. Okay, Ed, I'll come to you next. Please tell me when to press go on the timer.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
So I think, Andy, you've done a really good job of explaining what it is. I'm a big fan of Gary the Grappling Hook. If I could find some merch of that, I would love that, because that's also my dad's name, so I'd love to wind him up about that. I think the only thing worth bringing up is I want a spin-off of this spin-off to know how Buzz got back. So it's only a 7-minute short, and Buzz manages to make it back from the sat McDonald's back to the bedroom and back again to Gary the Grappling Hook and the Alcohol's Anonymous for toys. I think we've missed out there. I really want to know how Buzz got home, but it's well worth your time. Well worth your time.
Excellent. I kind of agree. I would like a spin-off of this, but I want a spin-off of just the Happy Meal toys. Like, I feel like, Toy Story would be great fun.
I want to know if the belt buckle can talk, and anything where there's less Woody. Less Woody, the better for me with Toy Story.
Ash, I'll come to you next. Tell me when to hit go.
Yeah, crack on.
Go.
I've pestered you guys to do a Toy Story one because I've watched all of them and I enjoy them. Like, they are, at this point, they're all if you're disillusioned and think that it should have ended at 3, these are the perfect little bite-sized tasters. I got a real sense of nostalgia when you'd go to McDonald's and it'd be some mad bollocks toy that you'd get in your Happy Meal, and just see, obviously they're not based on anything, but it would be some random ass bollocks. So seeing all these other different ones, like, it hit me in those nostalgic feels, and I kind of want the steak toy. Like, make that, please. I got a bit of Scrappy Doo vibes from Little Buzz, so I think that was what they were going for, which obviously they hit that on the head. And it kind of made me want the side characters to get more in Toy Story 5, but there we are.
Excellent. Thank you. Stu, coming straight to you. Tell me when to go.
Yeah, go. Yeah, a bit like actually, it's nostalgic, and these shorts work like this because there's not enough in there to make a whole film about them, without stretching it out and kind of diluting the message. So they've got their perfect place now on Disney Plus, which obviously they weren't made for in the first place. I don't even know where they live back in the day.
DVD extras.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. And being there like this in a little package, go and watch them all. They're superb, especially the Halloween one. But this is, it's the toys that you forget about, are the ones that are just throw away, literally just throw away, that you play with to entertain yourselves while your parents are eating their food. You get in the car, you get on the bus, as soon as you get home, you play with your real toys again, and these things just get discarded. And I think it's a lot deeper than you think it is, if you look at it from that point of view. But yeah, it's exceptionally well done, as always. And the quality's not TV quality, it's the same as the films.
Oh, 1 second to spare. Well done. Excellent. Great.
Small
Quick break,
Fry.
and then the...
Small Fry. This short was at the start of the Muppets. The Jason Segel.
Oh,
Amy
was
Adams
it?
film.
I even watched that in the cinema and don't remember this.
Yeah, it was the start.
No,
it was at the start of
I
that.
don't either. Cool. The cruise continues to Jerry Maguire after the break. Welcome back to the final part of the podcast. 13th of December 1996 was the release date of Jerry Maguire. I hadn't realised it was 30 years old. I remember watching, a bit like Interview with the Vampire, I remember watching this fairly regularly during the early 2000s for reasons I don't even particularly know. But I feel like this was a film that was always around in the early noughties, so the fact that it is even older than that kind of surprised me a little bit. Ed, I'll come to you first. Did you know this film prior to needing to do it for the podcast, or is this a new movie to you?
No, I remember watching this by accident on Channel 4, flicking through the channels, and it was on the scene where he's having sex with that crazy that turns out to be his ex. So, of course, like 16-year-old me left it on, hoping the rest of it would be like that, and it wasn't. So I remember watching it then, and I've watched it once before since, but a long time ago, so probably similar vibes. Maybe a year or two after that, watched it again, and then haven't thought about it or watched it since until watching it yesterday.
Ash, what about yourself? Had you seen this one before?
I'd never seen it before. Obviously, I knew of the one memeable line of "Show me the money," but I didn't obviously realise the other one, which I quoted before. I'd always heard good things, and obviously you look at the awards and stuff like that, which we'll go into, and it's obviously been well received, and I've always meant to, but no, never seen it before. So,
Stu, I'm guessing you will have seen this one. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like this would be a staple in the whole household way back when.
No, I've never seen it before.
Oh, that does surprise me.
Yeah, it wasn't even what I thought it was going to be about either, really. As soon as you look at the premise of it and the blurb, and you think, oh, yeah, obviously I would have watched this at some point, but no, I've never seen it before. And just as a weird aside, there was this new cruise film, Digger.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
No. I've seen the poster for it, and I've avoided everything I can.
The film itself is about 3 seconds, maybe. But it was a montage of Tom Cruise films.
Okay.
The weirdest thing I've ever seen. And like there's just like little clips. I thought, what is this, like Tom Cruise season at Cineworld? So that's what it seemed like. And it was cutting, and like the Interview with the Vampire was the second thing up. I thought, is this me? Am I on the Truman Show now? But it was, and then Showing the Money's obviously in there, which I didn't know was from this. So yeah, it was. I don't know if that was a Cineworld exclusive trailer but it was a fun little experience.
The fact that you didn't know that Show Me the Money was from this is another proof that you should watch The Simpsons, because my first introduction to Jerry Maguire was through Marge using it as an answer phone.
Exactly. It just seems a TV show of spoilers, which is why I hate it even more. No, I had no idea what it was. I'd never seen it before. Don't know why, really, because I really enjoyed it.
It's interesting you mentioned The Simpsons. So the latest episode of The Simpsons, they'd like spoof movies in it, and they spoofed Top Gun in the most recent one, which is quite strange, because why are they spoofing a 40-year-old film at this point? But it's a decent episode nonetheless, so it is worth a watch. But yeah, I feel like The Simpsons that's how you know that your moment, what we now know as a meme, has crossed over.
Yeah, you're in the zeitgeist, aren't you? If you're in The Simpsons.
Yeah, definitely. Jerry Maguire's quite a strange film, I think, in some respect, because it's technically a sports film, but there's very little actual sports in it. And it's weird to see it from the point of view of the agent and the agent not be a blood-sucking vampire, because that's generally what they are, isn't it, whenever they're being portrayed in media. So I don't know of any films before or after where we've had a bit of a sympathetic look at this kind of character, but I thought it was very interesting. And I suppose that's like the least interesting thing about Jerry Maguire is that he's an agent. I know it's where the story starts, but I thought that was quite an interesting take on a movie that like if you told me that it's a love story about a sports agent, I'd be a little bit like, I don't quite, why, where are you going, what's the point of this? But actually then in watching it, I think it ends up being a very good film that does surprise you somewhat. And I can't quite put my finger on why. I think it's because, thinking off the top of my head, there is magic on screen. The chemistry between the three main leads is just fucking phenomenal. And even the three main leads with, like, Jonathan Lipnicki, is it Kerry Washington who played his wife? Yeah. Like, just like the B characters in this, like the chemistry is just fucking on fire with everybody in this film. And I think that really does hold up when you see it all these years later.
I think as well, it's the fact that it's being what it's about is literally just an excuse to make it. So it's not a sports film, but that's just the reason it is in existence, because it's premise only. It's not actually about that in a way. It's about the people.
If you weren't sure it wasn't a sports film when you first see that Kush guy throw that fake pass and he can't throw, that's when you know it's not going to be a sports film.
Mean Machine, there's some dodgy stuff with that, but that's one of the greatest films ever.
Horrific. It's Regina Hall. Sorry, not Kerry Washington. It's kind of weird because, like, you mentioned Kush, who is Jerry O'Connell, who's like kind of a big name, and he's not even a B-list character in this. He's like, he could just be in the background. He could be a shadow. They talk about him, but he doesn't really feature much in this film. But Jerry O'Connell is in Stand By Me, which was 86, 10 years before. He's enough of an actor that I'm kind of amazed that they had him as just supporting the supporting cast almost. So yeah, quite a strange on that one. Ed, you mentioned seeing Kelly Preston, the sex scene. I thought Kelly Preston was fantastic in this.
Yeah,
like, she plays an absolute fucking Fruit Loop, and she was brilliant.
Yeah, another unlikable character. But I think your point around the B characters, there isn't many of them, and I think that's to the strength of the writing, that they're good enough to be useful characters, to have purpose, but you're not flooded with it that you think, hang on, who's that? You don't lose it, and obviously that's helped with. I think a really good scene is watching the Jerry's lights going out when Rod's keeping him on the phone. I think that's a really clever way of getting through he's only got one. He's only got one client now. He's got to work it. But I think it really works that the supporting characters are given enough that they're useful and you care about them, but then they don't take over and there aren't too many of them.
One thing, like mentioning that part, I think that's a really good show don't tell moment in the film that I was scared of when it started with voiceover. Because voiceovers are like the bane of tell don't show, and they quickly pivoted from that, thankfully. Ash, what were your thoughts on the B team in this?
I loved Bonnie Hunt in this as the sister, the cynical bitch sister who just even to the end, she can't have anything to do with this man. Like, she's obviously just playing that protective sister, but like everything is just like, it's the scene when she's going, is it San Diego or wherever it is, and he's like, get in the car, like they're having the cork, and she's just standing there at the window, get in the car, no, we're getting married, yay. It's like, oh, she was fantastic in it. I had all the time in the world for Bonnie Hunt in this. I do anyway, but
has she done that role before in something else? It feels like
that's nearly all of her roles, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, it surprised me a little bit when I remembered that she was in Rain Man. Like, I hadn't quite put that together. This isn't the first time we've seen her as part of this podcast, so it did shock me a little bit. But it does feel like she was born to play that role. But sort of moving on slightly from that, one of the criticisms I have, I do think the writing of the women in this film is quite generic. Like, we have the divorced groups meeting, which is quite odd, and it feels like a 90s caricature of angry divorced women sat around drinking wine and bitching about men. And then we have Regina King, who is the loud, aggressive, angry black woman trope. And then Renée Zellweger is the single mother who falls in love with a man in, seconds flat. That's one criticism I've got of this. I don't think the writing of the female characters is as strong as the writing of the male characters. They all serve their purpose, but I feel like their purpose is just to further the story, whereas the story is just TC and Cuba Gooding Jr.'s relationship.
Again, I'm going to completely disagree with you, because this is exactly what, like, my mum and her little harem of friends, who all have the same. Well, that's why this is so accurate for what their meetings were like, where they used to come round on a Wednesday and they used to sit around and bitch and moan. Well, understandable, because all their husbands left them for slappers, so because they all went to Malaga for their 40th and all got pissed up and lost their minds. But this is exactly what used to happen in my house every single week, and there's about 6 of them, and it was the same thing every week. They'd talk about the same subject all the time. Then you get downstairs and think, Carol's here. That ended happily, so that's fine. But this is, it was very spot on to what I experienced. So I can, if you transplanted this to America, it makes sense why it'd be more over the top. So I'll give him a pass on that one, because it seemed real enough to me.
I suspect there are people, like, I don't think it's an unrealistic representation. I think there's more to the characters than just that moment in their life. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Like, they're just picking that one stereotype and running with it, is what I mean, rather than, like, I don't think it's unrealistic, because we have all heard of these sort of events. I think it's just a little bit base for this movie. I think that's, show me the money. Yeah, like, it's not just the catchphrase, and it's kind of amazing that, like, even Stu, you said you hadn't even seen this film and you knew that catchphrase. You didn't even know it was from this, but you knew it. It's something that's lived on beyond it. The Kwan speech didn't quite work in the way that I think Show Me the Money did, but I did quite like his rant about respect, love, and self-worth being the emotional spine that runs through him, but it runs through this film as well, and I thought that was quite a nice parallel with how they did it. Ed, any other moments that you liked, loathed, or just think are worthy of discussion?
I didn't remember, even though I've watched this more than once. I'd forgotten how it ended when Rod gets hit. In my head, I couldn't remember if it went to devastation and he was, basically dead. And I don't know how I must have forgotten, that Cuba Gooding Jr. gets up and dances and showboats, above all showboating. But I just think his performance and his all-round supporting character is, at times, I think I might say this, I think he Tom Cruise's Tom Cruise in some of those moments. He's larger than life in so many of the one-on-one conversations that they're having. I think he's a scene stealer in every scene that he's in this movie, and I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, he's phenomenal in this movie. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Rain Man, that Tom Cruise was the straight man that allowed Dustin Hoffman to take those big swings. Yeah. And I think he does a similar sort of setup here, that it does allow Cuba Gooding Jr. to be as bombastic as he is in this movie. Ash, any good, bad moments that you can think of?
I liked when he got up, but then after about the third different dance, I was like, all right, okay, knock this on the head. And then he jumped into the crowd, and I was just like, I don't know if it's because it's been too hot. I was like, I'm too hot for this. Like, let's calm this shit down. Somebody throw a flag on the play here. Like, over celebrations now. Come on now. And then his little speech at the end when he's got his contract, his big massive contract, and he's thanked everyone and God and like fucking the man next door and the fucking dog who shit on his garden. At that point, I was just like, all right, come on now. But apart from that, I actually liked a Cuba Gooding Jr. film for once, and that in itself needs to be applauded. Because usually I'm not a big fan of him, but yeah, I had no complaints with him here. Yeah, and Renée Zellweger, like, I've only ever seen her in Bridget Jones, and I think she's insufferable in that. But I really enjoyed her in this as the cute girl.
Cool. Stu, anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to say she hadn't got enough love for her performance in this, even though it is pretty basic bitch kind of thing, like you said. But I don't know what else you could say about. I mean, that she does what she has to do in this, and she does it very, very well. And then the whole thing where she's hiding, and when they were talking about him when he's there, and the whole you can. Again, you've all been in that situation where they're bitching and doing their little things. I thought she just played it really, really well. And I think you're coming on to nominations in a minute. It wouldn't surprise me if she got mentioned for something, because I thought she was actually a lot better than. Like, actually, I don't think I've seen her in many things anyway. But
I think she was very believably sweet, like sweet and innocent in that sense. And yeah.
Is she the lead woman in what's the film where Jim Carrey goes mad?
Everyone.
Me, Myself, and I.
Me, Myself, and I. Is she the lead in that as well?
That's a good question. I can't.
Because I remember that character being she was a bit more of a effing and jeffing version of what she is in this, and she's really good in that. If it's her, I'm sure it's her.
No, it's not. It is. Maybe it is. Hang on.
I've only seen that once.
Oh no, it is. Yeah,
yeah,
she's
I think
Irene.
it is. Yeah,
she's
Irene. That's it.
I haven't seen that film for so long, but I really like Anthony Anderson.
Yeah,
as one of his kids. It was Teddy Bear in Hang Time.
Hang Time. Yeah,
if you remember that.
He could sink a three from half court.
Yeah, tremendous show.
Hang Time.
Yeah. So moving on then, what have we got? It is. Does he run? I don't think he did.
He does.
Yes, he does loads.
Yeah, he does.
Does he?
Full speed when he's
full speed when Rod's injured.
Yeah, there was.
Oh shit! Yeah, he runs onto the field, doesn't he? Yeah.
He could have been a running back. He was gone.
Yeah. Did he take his shirt off?
Yes.
Yeah.
More than once.
Yeah, I don't remember
Sex
that.
Sex scene.
Oh yeah, we did get the sex scene, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Their whole eating strawberries naked. And it's the biggest bowl of strawberries you've ever seen.
You got juices on the go anyway. You might as well.
Incredible. He does wear sunglasses. We see the scene where they're at the advertisement when Cuba won't get on that fucking camel. Apparently that camel was a real arsehole to try and deal with in real life, so they did walk off and left him there.
A lot of that looked improv.
Yeah,
I felt.
I think there was a fair bit of improv. I mean, I've got it a little bit later, but Cuba Gooding Jr. does talk about how Tom Cruise fought for him to just improv most of his lines, from what I can tell, which it feels quite authentic. His character does, so I'm absolutely not surprised at that at all. There were no explosions, though, were there? Like, there was nothing, no fires, no cars blowing up, nothing anything actiony.
No, not really. We could substitute it for sports stuff when there's no explosions. So there was sports footage.
Yeah, quite a bit. Cruise doing Cruise things. Like, we didn't get. Like, I don't think there was any physicality in terms of action within this movie. But I feel like it was a very energetic performance throughout lots of it, especially in the opening portion of this movie. The scene where he gets the bug to write his memorandum to start it all off and type it all down.
It's a mission statement.
The mission statement, sorry, yeah, that's right. After he's been fired and he's back in the office, we see him pacing around and he's gesturing and fast talking, sweating, eyes wide. Like, it's a very physical performance, even though he's not doing a lot of physicality with it, I think, which has become quite cruisy in itself, I think. We get a big self-destructive monologue, which I'm getting the impression that he enjoys monologuing quite a bit, because we do see them in the vast majority of his films at this point. We also get the talented but cocky schmuck who falls on his face and then dusts himself off to win in the end, which is very cruisy. So obviously Tom Cruise shadowed real sports agents to learn about this, attended lots of NFL games, studied contract negotiations, and worked with Lee Steinberg, who is the real-life Jerry Maguire. One thing which I picked up when I was writing the notes, I hadn't quite like a half-formed idea, was that a lot of Cruise's characters' self-worth is tied to their jobs. In Top Gun, he's nothing if he's not a pilot. In The Firm and A Few Good Men, he's nothing if not a lawyer. Mission Impossible, he's nothing if not a spy. And in this, like, he's nothing if not an agent. So, like, the big man in his field is becoming very Tom Cruise-y, I think.
Days of Thunder as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And the bad Irish one. Like, his whole thing is so that he can become a farmer.
Wants a job, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's very much tied up in his employment status. She's a bit bizarre, really, for someone of his stature. So his thoughts on this film, he's never really gone into much detail about Maguire, apparently, but he did say that he enjoyed working with Cameron Crowe, how Crowe writes characters with heart and truth, and that he loved the romantic optimism of the script, and he loved playing a loser. So Crowe was warned off casting Tom Cruise initially because, quote-unquote, he would never play a loser. But actually, at this point in his career, Cruise wanted to play somebody against type. Cruise's characters were winners, they were prodigies, they were hotshots. Whereas Jerry Maguire is insecure, he's needy, he's desperate, he's failing, he's an emotional wreck. And this was what Cruise wanted at that point in his career. So I think it was just the perfect storm. It was the right script at the right time. Cruise has said that he had instant chemistry with Gooding Jr., and I think you can see that. And he said that Renee Zellweger was perfect at casting. Crowe has said that Cruise was fearless, emotionally open. Gooding Jr. has said that Cruise was generous, insistent that Cuba be allowed to improvise. Zellweger has commented on how she felt safe and supported during the emotional moments. And Jonathan Lipnicki has spoken about how kind and patient Cruise was, treating him like a real scene partner. We haven't mentioned Jonathan Lipnicki in this, but obviously we generally hate children on this podcast. They're usually fucking awful in films.
Yeah, he's really good though, isn't he?
Not sure
Yeah,
bit,
like,
though.
yeah, he adds a bit of like emotional glue to it all in a way that I thought would have been quite grinding, and it wasn't. I thought he was really good in the end.
I really liked their relationship, Tom Cruise and I can't remember
Ray, I think his name is.
Yeah,
The youngest Ray ever.
like genuinely that you could feel like that Cruise loved that kid. Like half the time, I was questioning whether he actually loved Renee Zellweger or he loved that fucking kid.
Yeah, especially when they're in the bed as well, when he snuggles up to him.
Yeah. I was like,
We've seen
is this
that
going to end with him being adopted, like by just Cruise?
We've seen a few times in a few other films now, like a relationship with children, and from what we've heard, like Kirsten Dunst spoke about how he was a big brother on set in Interview with the Vampire. We've seen this a few times now that he's showing that. That's probably coming to be a bit of a Cruise trope as well, then, isn't it?
It's becoming a thing where he seems actually a really nice guy, and he's not a creep, and he's not weird, despite the whole Scientology thing. And like even in the World Cup, where he's just there sometimes, and he seems to be like talking to everyone, like he's not above himself. Which you look at him and you think, yeah, he's not going to speak to us, and he seems like the opposite.
But I do wonder how much of that is because of Scientology. Like, is he acting? Is
Possibly.
Tom Cruise a character that Thomas Morpather is playing a little bit? Which does lead us on to Scientology Watch this week, which in 1996, Scientology is basically living two lives at this point. In Florida, they're running a covert intelligence operation straight out of a Cold War thriller.
Of course they are.
Because of course they are. And in Los Angeles, they're polishing Tom Cruise to be the gleaming, smiling, unstoppable centerpiece of their Hollywood strategy. It's the year where the church is both deep cover espionage and People magazine covers. It's the stick and the carrot here, the shadows and the spotlight. So in 1996, Scientology was trying to reinvent itself after a few scandals, puts it very lightly, especially when we look at last week's tale. But they were still also doing some of their shady shit as well. So in 1996, the LA Times runs a big glossy feature titled Tom Cruise Steps into the Light. And it's exactly what Scientology wanted at this point. Tom Cruise was stepping forward, stepping onto the podium, stepping into the role of their number one Hollywood ambassador. This is the moment the church realises something quite crucial. Why fight the media when you can send Tom Cruise to charm them into submission? And I think that is a lot of what we see is his charm offensive 24/7. This is the year they push him from being Scientologist into Scientology's entire marketing department. He's the poster boy, the proof of concept, the human advert, if you will. Coming off of Mission Impossible, about to drop Jerry Maguire, he's the biggest movie star in the world. And Scientology looks at that and goes, yeah, that's our brand now. The Times piece paints him as spiritually fulfilled, professionally unstoppable, emotionally centred, and absolutely glowing with Hubbard-approved optimism. It's the soft-focused, celebrity-driven PR makeover that the church has been dreaming of since the 80s. Cruise isn't just a member, he's the product at this point. He's the aspirational lifestyle. He's the look at how well Scientology works billboard, and the church pushes him hard. Interviews, public appearances, quotes about how auditing is changing his life. This is the beginning of the era where Scientology stops selling theology and starts selling Tom Cruise's face. But while Cruise is stepping into the light, Scientology is doing something very different in the dark.
Of course it is.
So in Clearwater, which is their home base, they are running a covert operation in Florida that feels like it was written by the world's least subtle screenwriter. In 1996, investigators uncovered that Scientology had planted deep cover spies inside the Clearwater Police Department. Not as undercover cops, not as informants, as secretaries. Secretaries with access to filing cabinets, with access to criminal intelligence, and who were copying police documents, photocopying these police documents and feeding them back to the church. We've spoke about Operation Snow White previously, where they did it on a governmental level. So we've seen this paranoia before, this same obsession with their enemies, the same we're totally not a cult, but please ignore the espionage that we're doing right now. Clearwater is Scientology's Vatican. It's their HQ, their fortress, if you will. So they treat the local police like an enemy state. They want to know who's investigating them, what files exist, and what threats are coming in. So they don't want Scientology to always do what it does when it feels cornered. They infiltrate, they spy, they steal. So in 1996, this surreal split happens. We've got the Tom Cruise being the all singing, all dancing, smiley face of it. And then to the other side of it, we've got, Mission Impossible covert operations taking place within police departments. It's what Scientology is, I think, in the modern day, that we see the shiny side of it, but we know there's a darkness underneath it all. And it's quite interesting that I think this is the year where that split happens. So back to the big three awards count. So cumulatively, we had 20 wins and 52 nominations for films featuring Tom Cruise up to Mission Impossible. This week, we have Oscars and Globes to add into the mix. So Cuba Gooding Jr. won Best Supporting Oscar. We also had Best Picture nomination, losing out to The English Patient. It was also up for the original screenplay and editing nominations too. And Tom Cruise was nominated for leading actor, losing out to Jeffrey Rush for his performance in Shine. I have absolutely no fucking clue what that film is. This is better than The English Patient.
God, I've had shit better than The English Patient. It's such a boring film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about boring films, there's a new Sense and Sensibility.
Well, that's not boring.
Yeah, I don't mind a period piece. Like I quite like a bit of Jane Austen, Emily Bronte.
They're well written, mate.
Yeah,
you're on your own with that one. You love Downton Abbey, for fuck's sake. Pick a lane, Stu.
But I don't like all of them. I don't like all period pieces.
You're missing out. Like
Downton
Pride and
Abbey
Prejudice class.
Like Downton Abbey is what? Pride and Prejudice is, yeah, not Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, I prefer Sense and Sensibility.
I think it's a better one.
But that's why me loving Downton is so weird, because it's not something like when things like that used to be on. Like, it's stuff that my mum used to watch. It's like Where the Heart Is kind of stuff.
Heartbeat.
No, Heartbeat is excellent. Heartbeat is different. Again, Heartbeat is the exception to the rule. I've got the Nick Berry box set down there. You doubt me? Hold on.
No one doubts you.
No, Stu, we know.
No one doubts you at 10 to 11 at night.
The sheer size of the Nick Berry box set.
Oh my God.
I'm almost certain you're the only
is the
idiot
awful memory that you're going to
Heartbeat is wonderful.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It's that Sunday night feeling, the Sunday scaries. I don't like it.
But where it's hard, but you had the other one as well, the one with the like the Royal. Did like the Royal, but that was after. But where the heart is was the start of it all. And I thought, I'm not watching this. I've got no interest in this. And that was like period dramas. But I'm not watching period dramas. And then Downton come along, and it's one of the best things ever. Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it makes sense in your world, Stu.
Yeah. This is why we love you.
At the Globes, the film lost the Best Picture to Evita, which again, this is better than Evita. Cuba Gooding Jr. was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and Tom Cruise won for Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical. I have absolutely no arguments with Cuba Gooding Jr. getting an Oscar and Cruise getting a Golden Globe. Like, they both deserved awards for their performances. They were both tremendous. The critical response at the time, it was a major critical hit. Warm, funny, emotionally sharp, and widely praised for Cruise and Gooding Jr. and Crowe's writing. Reviews were overwhelmingly positive, with a 77 Metascore and no major negative reviews. Roger Ebert, he loved the film's emotional warmth, especially praised Renee Zellweger. There are a couple of moments in Jerry Maguire where you want to hug yourself with delight. Janet Maslin from the New York Times, loaded with bright, funny, tender encounters between characters who seem so willingly warm and real. Yeah. The modern reassessment is that it's aged really well, and it's seen as a staple of 90s cinema. Crowe's writing is praised for its sincerity and emotional intelligence. Show me the money, you complete me, and you had me at hello are cultural artifacts at this point. Cruise's performance is seen as one of his most human and emotionally open. The budget and box office, it had a $50 million budget, which gives us a cumulative total of $562.8 million, and the box office returns were $273.6 million, which gives us $3,191.9 million.
He's hit it out the park again, hasn't he?
Every time.
50 million seems a lot, really, for this.
It's mostly him.
Yeah. I guess.
And the guest appearances from people like Troy Aikman and paying the NFL for the Emmitt Smith cameo and things.
A lot of them things they didn't get paid for. They just did it as promotional stuff. Then it was in their contract at the time.
Potentially at that point, yeah. And like, I think Reebok were on board and stuff supporting
Reebok.
with some of it, which is quite funny because like, there is that line where he says "fuck Reebok," which apparently they were not happy about, but they talked them back round eventually. But yeah, like a $50 million budget. If you think 30 years ago, we're probably looking at that budget being considerably higher at this point. Like, you wouldn't get a cast of similar size at that. It would be 150 million most likely, and chances of it getting even 273 are slim to none. Okay, so Ed, Cage or Cruise?
Oh, this can only be Cruise. Although I wouldn't have minded Cage being Bob Sweetman or Sugar or whatever his name was.
Yeah, he would have been a good slimy dickbag, wouldn't he, I think? Stu, Cage or Cruise?
There was moments in it, like where he gets pissed and he's very... It seems like he's channeling Nicolas Cage, where he's got the glasses hiding the cuts on his face and so that he's completely out of it. Nice little hand on boob moment as well, which we haven't mentioned. But yeah, it just wouldn't work. He's not charming enough, and being charming is part of the shtick with this film. So yeah, Cruise all day long.
Ash, Cage or Cruise?
I think this is one of the few where there could have been like a hybrid, because there are the manic bits that you can see Cage in it, but when he's being sincere, like, you couldn't see Nicolas Cage having a heartfelt, lovely relationship with a child. Like, you couldn't see that whatsoever. So I think just based on the law of averages, I think he needs to be a bit more sincere, a little bit more. So it has to be Cruise.
Yeah, I think I'm with you all. I don't think Cage is quite right for elements of this performance, whereas Cruise he's knocking it out of the park, on all fronts here. So yeah, absolutely. So is Cruise the saviour of cinema or just another sinner, Ash?
Well, yeah, obviously. It's showing more and more, like Rain Man, that he can work with these guys, and he can be the straight man. Obviously, with Interview with Vampire, the classic, he can be the bombastic psycho, but he can do this role of being the straight man and letting the other guys go and do it, which shows a good bit of strength in that sort of sense. So yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it's showing his strength of bringing the best out in other people once again. So yeah, he's a saviour for me. Ed?
Yeah, hands down, saviour.
Yeah, Stu?
Yeah, it's not just all about explosions and stunts and all that kind of thing. I mean, you go from last week's Mission Impossible, where there is a lot of that, to this in the space of a year, and it's like how it's proper top tier stuff. Yeah, saviour.
Yeah. If you enjoyed Jerry Maguire, you may also like. Stu, I'm coming back to you for this one first.
And before Ash mentions it, Field of Dreams.
Fair. Ash?
I kind of went with Ballers, the TV show. Dwayne Johnson as the agent, just because he's a sports agent as well, but he's not really like you say, a blood-sucking parasite dickhead. Because he would never allow himself to be that.
I did have that Danny Dyer film. I hadn't seen it though. Where it's
all right. The one hand,
yeah.
It's a Sky movie, and it feels like a Sky movie. It's perfectly fine. It's not good, but it's perfectly fine. It's Danny Dyer being Danny Dyer for 90 minutes. Like,
that's
can't go far
10
wrong.
out of 10 then.
No.
Yeah. Ed?
So I've got a couple. So if you just want, well, more than a couple, if you want to just watch an American football movie, you've either got Remember the Titans with Denzel, or my personal favourite, The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. But if you're looking at more the agent side, Hustle from 3-4 years ago with Juan Hernando Gomez, and it's Adam Sandler as his agent. He goes to Spain, finds a street baller. It's a good film called Hustle.
I hadn't seen that until a month or two ago when Ash mentioned it, and then watching it, I was like, I can't believe that I've only just seen it now, because it's very much my cup of tea, that is.
It's a sense of goal.
It sort of is, but good. Like where goals a bit wanky, like a bit. You know. I mean, it kind of feels like old Doctor Who. You know, like how everything looks like the sets are shaking. That's what goals like. Whereas this feels like a proper movie.
Goal The Dream Begins is great. The other two are not good.
Is The Dream Begins the first film?
Yeah.
Because we've seen 1 and 2, haven't we? Like, we've reviewed those previously, and they're both dog shit. Like, they're horrendous, but like the second one is much worse. I'll grant you that. The two films that I've picked, so I've gone more about like the buddy relationship more so than sports agent side. So if you want a film about masculine bonding whilst being held in a world alien to their own, The Lighthouse. Like, it's a very left field choice. I'll grant you that.
I know. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed, watch The Lighthouse on your own in the dark. I did that in view of an actual lighthouse in Whitby the year it came out.
And that's Dracula famous as well.
Yeah. Weird.
It's another A24 film, so you know it's going to be, quality. The other film, if you want something a little bit lighter but similar sort of vibes, The Interview. You know, the Seth Rogen, James Franco one that nearly caused Korea to attack Sony Studios when they hacked all their emails and stuff. Like, it's another fish out of water male bonding movie. So yeah, I've gone a little bit left field, but those would be the two choices that I would go for here. Right, so next week then, I think we're doing a musicast, but we're waiting for confirmation from Mr. Matthew Guy on that one. If that doesn't go ahead, we will have obviously got Tom Cruise films to continue with. So let's have a look at what we've got next after this one. I think it is Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Look how long the next two films are.
Yeah, I mean, I am dreading Eyes Wide Shut because it's fucking 3 hours. Magnolia, I think, is the one after, which I mean, that's 3 hours 8, but that's the film I'm actually looking forward to. Eyes Wide Shut is 2 hours 39.
It feels
but
longer
I've only heard bad things about that, so I'm kind of dreading that one, but I'm looking forward to Magnolia. So if it's Musicast, we'll be doing Eyes Wide Shut the week after. If not, we'll be doing Eyes Wide Shut next week and doing that. In terms of the actual short film for next week, then, because I have plans of us doing a few episodes on Christopher Nolan, because it is Odyssey month next month, we'll do one of his short films. What's the first one we've got on the list for Chris Nolan? I think it's pronounced Tarantella. Tarantella. I believe it is available on YouTube or one of those type of things. So we'll do one of Nolan short. There's 4, so we could potentially end up doing one per week. We need to do the halftime review because we're now through with June, so we'll do that at some point. A couple of episodes on Nolan and a musicast all next month. But that's how we'll roll. Keep an eye on the social media and we'll confirm this information a lot clearer than I've just done here. It's at Cage Fighting Pod on all of the socials, and it's cagefightingpod@gmail.com if you want to get in contact via email. If you've listened to us on a podcast, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the future episodes, and a review would really help us out, and we'd love you forever because of that. But this week, Ash, would you like to say goodbye?
With this coming out on Tuesday the 30th, it's the anniversary of my dad dying, so I'd just like to say, if you've still got your parents there, tell them you love them, because you might not know when you'll not get to say it again. Bye.
I should have come to you last, because who's going to follow that?
Yeah, Stu. It has to be Stu.
Yeah, Stu, would you like to say goodbye?
All right, I shoplifted the pootie.
Ed, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, it's 28 degrees, and the human head, did you know that weighs 8 pounds?
It's goodbye from me too, and remember, be excellent to each other.